I know you guys want to get right to the rumors. I respect it. I love it. Let's get to it. All we ask, share the video now. A college football fan, a Florida fan, somebody you want to prove right, somebody you want to prove wrong, share the video right now. The head coaching job at Florida is up for grabs right now, and the rumors continue to swirl. Name after name goes in and out of the conversation. Thankfully, here on CFB Now, we have all the rumors and everything broken down for you. I'm Billy Beebe, glad to be talking with you more here on Chat Sports CFB Now about the multiple open positions. And there are more and more and more as we go along. Auburn recently added to this list. They're big. All these jobs, are going to be sought after and yet have big-time candidates that they're going to go after. It's kind of a perfect mix and a wild storm at this point in time, right? And if you guys were with us when we did our last Florida video, I said the Gators are up there with the best of them. LSU, Florida, Penn State, now Auburn, and Arkansas also getting into the mix. So we have a few really big jobs open right now in college football. A lot of names, like I said, connected to each of these jobs. We go through the bet online odds for the Florida job. This is where we sit right now with that position that currently the interim head coach is Billy Gonzalez. We'll get to that name soon. But what we're looking at here, Lane Kiffin continues to be the talk of the town when it comes to LSU, but also with Florida. Again, I've said it multiple times. I think the Florida job is up there with Penn State, with LSU. So if it's about Lane Kiffin, it's also about the Gators. Now, after this job opened up and the Kiffin rumors began to swirl, Ole Miss ironically had a very big game against Oklahoma, which they did win, only furthering the discussion. Molly McGrath of ESPN gave a great report pregame. This was before Ole Miss beat Oklahoma about kind of where Lane Kiffin was mentally going into that game. So this is her report. There's quotes within quotes here, so stay with me. Lane Kiffin told me he usually doesn't address those kind of coaching rumors in season because there's so much more football to play and there's so many more big things to focus on. But he's actually going to do things differently today. In their team meeting, he is going to address the Florida rumors with his players. He's going to talk to them about it and say, hey, this is what happens when you win. This is a compliment to our players, our staff, and the program. We want to talk. He said he wants to talk to his players about it because there's so many new guys on the team that haven't dealt with this before. So, as far as Kiffin goes, he's talking about the job with his players. He's talking a little bit about it with the media. I mean, it's hard to avoid it, right? But I think for now, he's taking the smart approach to it. I think he's made some comments about it's not going to be about money, but that's more about leaving than Florida. He's just told the players, hey, we have a long season to go. This is what happens when you're good. People start to look at you. I'm sure he's talked to them about transferring and things like that also. So that's kind of where Lane Kiffin stands right now, and we will, of course, keep our eyes on that one. The big question, straight up, no doubt about it, I want to hear from you guys on this one. Will Lane Kiffin take the Florida job if it's offered to him? And I imagine it comes with a gigantic bag of cash to go with it. But if you were having to answer it straight up, why for yes, he would take the Florida job, or N for no. We continue with the bet online odds to be Florida's next head coach. And this is a guy who was number one last time we talked at the end of October. Eli Drinkwitz with Missouri falls down from 1 to 2. And I kind of did my whole speech on why I actually liked it and I thought they should go for him and so on and so forth. I'll tell you how he can get back to number one. And it's the matchup this Saturday between Missouri and Texas A&M. Obviously a top-ranked Texas A&M team. Missouri's taken their hits, taken their lumps throughout the season. They've had some good wins, some really good wins, some really tough losses. Drinkwitz wants to get back in the discussion, maybe leap to the top of the discussion. Knocking off Texas A&M at home would be a really, really big win for the Tigers and Drinkwitz. Jedd Fisch rises up this list a little more. He was in that 4th spot. Now he's up to 3rd on the bet online odds to get that Florida job. How'd he do it? How'd he move up? Got the fellas in the top 25. Washington jumping up into the AP rankings. How many weeks have we gone through this season? We're saying Washington should be ranked. Washington should be ranked. Washington should be ranked. Finally, it only took about 10 weeks to get there. Washington is ranked at number 24. Fish continues to do a really good job at Washington. Again, I have always said I feel like it'd be another jump for him, right? Just jumping schools pretty consistently. I don't know where he finally wants to set his roots. Washington feels like a good place, but he's up there for that Florida job. We're still talking James Franklin, and the consensus has been positive, right? I feel like the farther we get away from that overtime loss to Oregon and the disasters after, the more positive things people have to say about James Franklin. You look at, that overall record, pretty good at Penn State. He won a lot of games there. Got to the playoffs, won a Big Ten title, beat Ohio State once. He did some things while he was at Penn State. And as I said, the more removed from the situation of this season, it seems James Franklin has a lot of respect around college football for the Florida job, for Oklahoma State, for the other open positions that are being discussed outside of Penn State, of course. I've been really surprised by this, which is why I want to gauge how you feel about James Franklin. How good a coach is James Franklin? Is he Nick Saban-esque level at 10, or somewhere where a one and done or a half a season or whatever at 1? I don't know where you guys want to put him, but I want to hear from you down below. Scale it 1 to 10. All right, a new name on the top 5, Clark Lee of Vanderbilt. They have had an interesting season. I'm really excited to watch them in the playoffs. I hope they can get there. They took a tough loss to Texas. They're second on the season. They have to regroup if they want to make the playoff. But Clark Lee is a name floating around, again, for all these jobs. A lot of SEC jobs, may I add. He is a name floating around with these ones. On3's Gator Online, getting to know him a little bit more. The pluses and minuses if you bring Clark Lee into that position. Pluses on the left, minuses on the right. Program builder, great motivator. We've seen it, right? Knocked off Alabama last year. You get your team to that spot. And a physical play style on every team he coaches. Obviously very key in the SEC. Low expectations right now. That's a minus, right? If Vanderbilt stinks, I don't know. It wouldn't overly surprise me. The fact that they're good, I now kind of understand who they are and what they're doing. Unproven long-term, not too many years of doing this, right? I mean, even Vanderbilt was unranked at points last season. And then quarterback dependent. I don't want to say it's all Pavia. A good chunk of it's Pavia. He's a heck of a player, and that's why they are winning the way they are right now. Sometimes that's why they're losing the way they're losing. But Clark Lee, a name to consider for the open Florida head coaching job when everything is discussed later on after the season is done. Right now, want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks when the weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which players are overhyped? Make sure you can make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Here's a little lineup we put together for you guys. We'll be talking Ohio State a little bit later in the video, so we wanted to jump in with the Buckeyes, who are really red hot right now. I always love the rushing and receiving being paired. So Bo Jackson, yes, Bo Jackson, if you're not familiar, is a running back for Ohio State. Rushing or receiving yards, 84.5, took more for that. Same with Jeremiah Smith, rushing or receiving. May not know this, Jeremiah Smith has a rushing touchdown this year. Rushing and receiving there, going more. And Ryan Brown, almost equal on touchdowns and interceptions this year for the Boilermakers, so we wanted to go more on his half interception. Also want to keep you guys up to date and let you know on Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go to the power play. No matter how you play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 after you play your first $5. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. lineup, Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So, next up, I want to talk about a candidate going out and a candidate coming in at the same time in one statement. Urban Meyer and the crew with Fox were in Columbus last week, and a little interview with Urban about his interest. This was actually, they were asking him about Penn State, and he quickly shut it down. If you look at the video from Kellyanne Stitz, she is in the video talking with him, and he shut it down very quickly. Said he's not interested in getting back into coaching. He said, no, I have no interest. And a great question by Kellyanne, and I mentioned this to you guys in the last time we talked. She asked about Brian Hartline, who's currently in his second year as offensive coordinator, first year calling plays at Ohio State. She asked about Brian Hartline, and he said, yes, he is ready to be a head coach, and added, big Brian Hartline fan, always have been. And if you're just learning about Brian Hartline, getting to know Brian Hartline a little bit better, this is an elite recruiter at Ohio State. He is the reason, one of the main reasons they've had this stretch of first-round wide receivers. And like I said, that Florida connection is a good reason he's getting it done. Joel Klatt also listing Brian Hartline as somebody that these jobs need to consider, need to talk about. Klatt saying on his show, and then the guy that's maybe under the radar that's not a head coach right now, seen as like a Dan Lanning or a Kirby Smart, has been around it. He knows what it takes. He just hasn't been a head coach yet. It's Brian Hartline at Ohio State. Klatt adding here, I know Buckeye fans are screaming right now for me bringing up that name. He gave a couple other names with it, and he said if he was the athletic director, again, actually, he was talking about Penn State, he would give Hartline a call. My thought on Brian Hartline, first things first, I don't like the he's never been a head coach thing. I do understand you want like a big name, but like no head coach has been a head coach until they are. So, yes, he's not been a head coach, but then you got to be one eventually, right? So if you give him that chance, he'll take it. If you got Buckeye fans, number one in the country, really good on offense, really good on defense, like I said, they know what they've got in their wide receivers. If they're spazzing out, freaking out, going nuts, going buck nuts about Brian Hartline leaving, you should probably take it seriously and take some interest in Brian Hartline. Again, elite recruiter and coming up the ranks as a big name in the coaching territory for college football. And again, he did interview at West Virginia before Rich Rod got that job last year. So definitely something to note there. All right, I know you've probably been thinking it the entire video. Your name, your person, who you think will be the next head coach of the Florida Gators. Go ahead, comment it, let me know down below. Don't forget the man who currently sits in the chair, Billy Gonzales, serving as interim head coach for the Florida Gators. Finally got his shot to hit the field as the head man and coach his first game for Florida. He's been an assistant there actually multiple times, now taking over in the interim position. Not bad Saturday, the Gators. 24-20 against a top 10 team in Georgia. I was pretty impressed by what Florida did. They have a tough schedule coming up. That's to keep in mind. But what they did against Georgia, I thought they were going to take down the Bulldogs. I liked what they did. I thought they had some really great moments, and I kept checking in on that one because I thought maybe Florida could get it done. So props to Gonzales on that one. We're going to keep an eye on him. Like I said, he's in that chair, chance to make something happen. I want you guys to grade it. That look at the Georgia game from Florida, grade Gonzales and company. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your red pen out and give them a grade. Do got to remember, my big thing with Billy Gonzales in that position, where he's at with Florida, especially a really tough schedule down the stretch. And that's been the narrative for Florida right there, is like, really good game, just couldn't get it done. That's it. That's kind of where they stand, and maybe Gonzales takes him over the top. What I'll say, controls his own destiny, right? Play well in these games, look good in these games. I saw him talking at some SEC press conference stuff. Currently in on recruiting, talking to recruits, trying to get things done for Florida. He's doing all the right things right now. So that's just a reminder that Billy Gonzales still in the mix, trying to make a way, create his own destiny to be the next head coach of the Florida Gators. We will have it all as it comes to you, whether it be Florida, LSU, Penn State, Arkansas, now Auburn, all these head coach openings, whether it be hot boards, rumors, news, updates, all of it here on Chat Sports, so be sure to subscribe.